this happen for myself and my family. There's no way that this is real, man, it can't be.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Modify Your Life Podcast, where we talk about modifying our life physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And today, we got another solo because I'm about to go in because last time we got some pretty cool comments on the last one. It was really cool to kind of really take something from social media and kind of put my input on it. It was really cool to kind of go back and listen myself. I'm not gonna lie, we'll be very, very honest. It was really cool to go back and listen myself and to kind of just see what other people were relating with. I reposted on Instagram and on TikTok and everything, and I got a lot of good reviews. And I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, right? I feel like it's something that we should start holding ourselves accountable for. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out that last one. It's the young solo heavy to modify conversation where I want to start doing. Didn't go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. Like, you don't just lose structure because someone is no longer there, because you have the knowledge and you have, you remember everything that you're doing as you're building the structure during that time that person was around, right? Or you were on that diet, that crash diet, or you were really driven to lose weight, or you're really dedicated to becoming a better at your workplace, or you're really working hard to get that raise that you wanted to get, right? But what we do, right, and this is what we do as a whole, and if I'm speaking to you, don't forget to share this show, is that once we get to that goal, like once we get to that vision that we seen ourselves at, we throw everything away, right? Like, we throw it away. We get to that one, even using myself as an example, right? I was trying so hard. I was working very, very hard for me to show a 4-pack or a 2-pack. I think it was a 2-pack at the time. And what did I do when I showed those abs? I went to In-N-Out. Right. So like I do it myself. So when I'm speaking this conversation, I'm also calling myself out. And it's something that we have to start realizing that we're doing. Right. It's something that we need to stop getting to, like, this goal or getting to this point of feeling comfortable. And then we throw it all out the window. Right. We forget how hard we worked for that one thing. And then once we get there, we're done. We're completely, that's it. I made it here. We're good. And we don't push ourselves to keep going. And I wanted to kind of speak on this because it falls down into not only the structure in our life, but it falls down into us continuing to keep creating more goals, right? Us continuing to level up, right? To us continue to push further than that one first little goal we set. Because as we keep on becoming the best version of ourselves, as we continue to keep on working ourselves and we keep continuing to level up in life, you don't stop when you get to a certain point, right? Because you should be focusing on the journey and how much you're learning, how much you're developing as a person. And then when you get to that goal or you get close to that goal, everything that you've learned, all the motivation, the dedication, the discipline, the consistency, accountability, it doesn't go anywhere. It should double up into the next thing you want to do. And then it doubles up to the next thing you want to do. Like, and let me paint you a picture. Imagine you were making, at one point in your life, you were a teenager and you got your first $100 bill from your dad or your mom or your grandma or whoever it is, right? Imagine if you never wanted to make anything else again. Imagine like, oh, I got my first $100 bill. I don't want another $100 bill. I never want to make another $100 again. No. When we get that and we get the feeling of making your first 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, if done correctly and with the right processing, with our mind processing the right way, is that we should want to turn that 100 into 200, into 500. You don't want to slow down just because you reach that first level of success or that first level of the best version of yourself, because the best version of yourself is really never done growing, right? So a lot of people say, like, keep working I say this a lot too, become the best version of yourself, become the best version of yourself. But at the end of the day, we're never done becoming the best version of ourselves. We're never done learning. We're never done growing. We're never done wanting. We're never done teaching. We're never done. And that's the best thing about this, is that when you start working on yourself and when you start creating discipline and accountability in your life, and when you start winning, right? When you start winning, you start wanting more for yourself. Like, the Honda Civic isn't good enough. right? That 10 pounds isn't good enough. That 50 pounds isn't good enough. That 100 pounds isn't good enough, right? You continue to want more because if this is done correctly over long term of focusing on long-term growth and long-term success, there's so much knowledge that you got to learn about yourself, whether it be physically, mentally, or emotionally, that you should always want to be able to double down and become better, right? You should always want more for yourself. Never settle for it's like, it's like when you go get a car, right? When you go get a car and you're like, oh, that car looks amazing. I like that car. Are you going to settle on the first offer they give you? Like, oh, that's a $150,000 car. Take it or leave it. No, you're going to negotiate, right? You're going to try to bring that bad boy down. Remember, everyone goes and get a car. They're like, oh yeah, I want that car, but I want this price. And I'm going to leave if I don't get this price, right? Like, you're not just going to take the first victory. Well, a first that they're giving victory. And everyone knows when you go buy a car, you don't trust their first offer. Hell no. If you do, you're balling. You're making the right amount of money, because I definitely ain't, because I'm negotiating. I'll sit there for 5 hours to save $55. I don't care, right? But that's how I want to paint that picture, is like you're not going to take that first offer. So why settle for that first taste of success when you want to keep on pushing yourself to become better? And I was sitting here and I was talking because I let him know that, like, hey, like, today I'm shooting a podcast and this podcast is going to be for you, because I have these conversations with people. I could use myself as an example. He could use himself. There's so many other people that do this stuff, right? We get a little taste of success and we forget everything that we worked so hard for, right? And we get to this point where we become stagnant, right? We become complacent. We become okay with the lifestyle because it's better than the one we're living 6 months ago. But how I like to break down stagnant and complacent is just lazy, right? Even though you made it to another stepping stone in your life, even though you made it to a better version of yourself, not the best version of yourself, a better version of yourself, you don't want to fall stagnant and be comfortable with being mediocre, because you, either way, no matter where you made it, whether you're making $100,000 or $200,000, you don't stop there, because you could continue to keep pushing further. You could continue to work harder. You could continue to keep losing more weight. And I feel that we all kind of do this. So I feel like having a podcast strictly talking about this alone would really bring a value to a lot of people, because a lot of us right now, we have the holidays coming up, right? We have the holidays coming up. Some of us, we haven't lost any weight. Some of us have made that goal on January 1st, and we are still sitting in the same boat we were on January 1st, 2023, right? And we're waiting for this magical 2024, January 1st, 2024 to come around, right? And we're waiting for the perfect time and the perfect day and the perfect weather and the birds chirping, right? And you're going to wake up one day and you're just going to be ready to just dive in deep and just crush it and just lose the how many pounds you want to lose in the next couple weeks, couple months, or a year, whatever it is, your 2024 goals. But it's not how life works out, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to build structure around this stuff, right? And one thing that I do see a lot about building structure, and what people talk about a lot and people will say about a lot, and I also do tell my clients this, is, we need to build some type of structure. Start off by making your bed. That's a very, very great way to start building up structure. But remember, and it's not making the bed that's building structure in our life. It's doing it when we don't want to do it. It's doing it when it's no longer fun anymore. It's doing it when you look at it, you've been doing it for 2 months and you're like, well, why am I still doing this? Like, that's where the structure starts getting built, right? That's where the structure and the discipline and the accountability starts coming in play, because now it's no longer fun. You go down to my Instagram, I always had money to pitch in for bottle service, right? Or me and Frankie always had money to eat Korean barbecue 3 and 4 times a week. But yeah, I didn't have money for the things that were going to better me, right? But it comes down into the structure of how our spending was and our habits are. We didn't have the money to be healthy because we didn't want to have the money to be healthy. Does that make sense? We didn't have the money to become healthy because we didn't want to have the money to become healthy, right? Or work on ourselves, because it's a lot easier to go buy fast food than it is to go hit the gym, right? It's a lot easier to just live a lifestyle day by day, waking up with no goals, no ambitions, than it is to wake up with goals and ambitions and dreams and work for them every single day, right? But it wasn't until I started getting myself together and I started working myself, that I realized how big and how important structure is to have in our life. Because so working on yourself every single day, right? You're not going to become perfect because you made your bed for 5 days. You're also not going to become a millionaire because you made it for 5 months, right? But it's over the time of consistency of making your bed and doing it when it's no longer fun is when you're going to start seeing that you're building some type of structure in your life, right? You're waking up with the purpose, and people are thinking like, well, it's just making your bed. That's so stupid. I'm going to sleep in it tonight or whenever when I come home. Well, that's why you're not successful. Right? That's why you're not successful in anything you do, because you only do it until it's no longer fun. And when it's no longer fun, it's when you stop. But it's what are you going to do when you get to that first hurdle, right? What are you going to do when you're done losing that water weight your first 2-3 weeks of your weight loss, and then you have one bad slip up? What are you going to do? Are you going to do the same thing you do every single time? We have a little slip up and you start again on Monday, or you're going to take a different way and you're going to have a slip up on a Friday and back on it to a Saturday. Right? Because it's easier for us to have a slip up on a Friday and go to start again Monday. Sometimes some people, Monday never happen again. I know there's someone listening right now that made a 2023 goal, January goal for 2023, and has not changed anything. Hasn't even had one slip up on the 2nd, on the 5th, on the 10th of January and just said, forget it. Right? And there's people in here that have had slip ups and they kept going. And there's people that are still fighting every single day. But at the end of the day, without having structure, without having some type of game plan, we're not going to be successful in this, right? We need to start waking up without a game plan of what we're going to do that day that's going to make us better. At least one thing every single day should be focused towards making yourself better, right? Whether that be making your bed. For some people, it's brushing their teeth. Right? We let our weight get so bad, our hygiene goes out the window. I know I'm at the fault for that. When I was at my heaviest weight I've ever been, my hygiene was completely out the window. I would brush my teeth like once every 2 or 3 days. Right? I was building a habit of laziness. I was starting getting comfortable in my own obese body. So some people are doing that. That's working on becoming better. And there's someone listening right now. You're doing wrong, but you're not worrying about what you're doing wrong. Because once again, it's easy to judge someone, it's easy to help someone, and it's harder to help yourself, and it's really hard to judge yourself, right? So it's easy to point the finger at someone else instead of pointing the finger at yourself, right? So no matter what it is that we're doing every single day, whether we're on a journey of wealth, health, success, to become a better father, a better brother, a better son, a better uncle, a better human being, we need to start waking up with a purpose, and we need to start building some type of structure. Because let's be honest, the reason why we got in this predicament that we're in is because we have no structure in our life. And you're listening to someone speak that was living this lifestyle, had a freaking Camaro, right? 1LE, race seats, built car, built this, YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. But I was fucking one Twinkie away from death, and I was pissed broke. Everything was on credit cards. I was in debt through the roof, but I look cool, right? I look cool. On social media, I was a big guy with the Camaro, right? I had the rap Camaro, had sponsors, blah, blah, blah. I look cool, but internally I was fucking miserable because I did not have any type of structure. What I was doing, everything I did was so other people could like me, right? So all that materialistic stuff at that time was so people didn't focus on my real problem, which you weren't hiding it. I was that guy. I was that cool guy. I wasn't fat AJ, right? I was El Jefe Vlogs, right? I was so busy on focusing on impressing other people because it's easier for me to try to impress someone else than me look in the mirror and trying to impress myself, right? Until I started working on myself is when I realized this. And that's why I'm taking you back. I'm taking you back to a person that was morbidly obese, that was becoming lazy. Hygiene was going to shit, right? My self credit score with myself was below zero. My self confidence was below zero. Thank God I had a girlfriend at the time. You know what I mean? Everything in my life that on social media and on YouTube, it looked like it was just so amazing. It was really crap. And we can even dive into the part of my relationship where our relationship was literally just built around food. And how I know we're like first part of my relationship, or the first beginning of part of my relationship was built around food, is because when I started losing weight, we had to figure out what our relationship was. Right? We had to get that together and figure out what we had in common other than us enjoying eating at freaking 2:00 in the morning when I got back from driving Uber. Right? So all that stuff that you see and all the stuff that I'm sharing was just a facade. It was just so people didn't realize that my biggest insecurities I wasn't ready to work on. Right? I literally was driving around in one of the coolest Camaros I've seen. You know what I mean? I'm going to hype myself up. But spiritually, I was piss broke. Financially, piss broke. Health, non-existent. I didn't even care about my health. I didn't even think about what I was putting in my mouth. I was just accepted that I was just that big guy who just had the Camaro and stuff like that. You know, and at the end of the day, when I started focusing on myself and my personal development and actually working on building structure is when I started coming better. And now you're hearing this story, right? And I'm sharing this with you. And I'm I'm putting you back in, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Anthony Lopez, before having it modified. And then you're going to think that, oh, well, my man, since he's started working this stuff, he must have amazing structure. He must be doing good now. Everything's smoothly. No. Right? It takes every single day to work on yourself to become better. Because not too long ago, before I started my online coaching, Francine had to put her foot in my butt because I wasn't taking it seriously. Because what happened? I started to lose my structure. I started to get comfortable. I started making some money. I started to get some followers. I started to film myself. I was losing weight. I was this and that, right? Mr. Big Shot. But then I started to get comfortable. And what did I start doing? I started going back to my old habits, right? Because those old habits are easy to run back to because it's an easy lifestyle to live. It's easy to be complacent. It's easy to be satisfied. It's easy to be lazy. Let's be honest. Let's just call it what it is, right? It's easy to become lazy. It's way easier to not go to the gym than it is to go to the gym. It's easier to not meal prep and get fast food. That's why the fast food lines are absolutely packed every single day. We go and try to get some fast food, especially after those work hours are between like 12 and 1. You try to get a fast food line around then, it's like a line of 25 people. Literally 25 people. Because it's easy to be lazy. It's easy to go back into our old habits. It's hard to actually change ourselves and change our mindset and continue to work on it every single day. And the biggest thing that people think is once you do it for a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, you're perfect. You're going to be a millionaire in no time. No, it's a constant battle with your brain and your old habits that want to come back that you have to shut down. You have to continue to keep on working on yourself day in and day out because your brain is always going to remember how fun it was to be lazy and to be overweight and to eat what you want and drink what you want and say what you want and do what you want. Your brain's always going to remember that guy who got to go, or that guy or girl, they got to go out and eat tacos at 2 a.m. and drink all night and wake up without a purpose and no type of passion and not the one that didn't have to care if they're living life right. Because like I can tell you right now, when I wake up, I have goals. I have dreams. I have ambitions. And it's not because of the following I have. It's just the opportunity that I've been given because of it, right? So by working on myself and building up my self-confidence and my credit score, right? Build up my personal credit score. I forgot who I heard. I remember who said that because I heard that from someone else. Like, that's so true, right? We have our own credit score, right? And some of us right now in the life that we're living in the decisions we made, our credit score with ourselves, we can even get a $5 fucking loan. Let's be honest. I know I couldn't, right? My self-confidence was low. My credit score myself was negative 700, right? Because I didn't stick to anything. I talked about it, but I didn't stick to anything. I said I was working hard, but I knew I was lying, right? My credit score was bad. It was bad. And as we fast forward into, last year, Anthony Lopez are having it modified. it started to come back again. I started to get comfortable. That's why I always share these things, right? That's why I put myself out there, because this is my story. Like, this is what I live. I know how easy it is for me to go back to being overweight. I know how easy it is for me to get comfortable. And I know how easy it is for me to live an average, basic, complacent lifestyle. It's very easy. When I walked into a couple months ago, I went up to Missouri, and I went to listen to Andy, Ed Milet, and David Goggins. And they're talking. Someone asked a question of, like, how do you keep working hard when you built the success that you have, right? And obviously, these guys are way more successful than me. Those are people I aspire to be like and be better. I don't want to just be like Andy. I want to be like Andy. I want to be better. I don't want to be like just David Goggins. I want to be like David Goggins, and I want to be better. I don't want to be just like Ed Milet. I want to be like him, and then I want to get better, right? That's my goal. Like, that's where I set my goals and my standards with myself. And David Goggins was talking. He was saying that it's a lot harder to wake up in, was they suede sheets, or was they silk sheets? You know what I mean? And when I walked in, right? Remember, I said that was a couple months ago. And I also said a couple months ago, Francine had to put her freaking foot in my butt. So when I walked in and I heard that, I was like, damn, I literally texted her. I was like, wow, look what I just heard, right? Because it's easy to get comfortable. You start making a little money, right? You see your scale go down a little bit. You get a couple compliments from your friends and family. Maybe that guy or girl you've been trying to get to notices the hard work you've been putting in, right? Now you're good. You're at the finish line. But that's when you double down and work harder. Now, one is going to say, well, I'm not doing this for anyone else. You're 100% right. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing it for yourself. But let's be honest and stop lying to yourself. Nothing feels better when someone around us, whether we love, like, or just know, gives us a compliment and notices our hard work. Nothing feels better than that. I don't care what anyone says. You obviously are doing this for yourself. But when someone around you that means a lot to you, or even just someone from social media that comments you, that sees your hard work that you put in, it's an amazing feeling. It's really like that, what we're looking for is instant gratification. It's that feeling you get, right? That's the instant gratification you get, but you got to earn that, right? So it's not really instant, but at the same time, once you put in the work, you get that, right? And it's such a great feeling for someone to notice your hard work you're putting in. No, you didn't start for them. No, you're not working for them, and you shouldn't be losing weight for anybody. Honestly, that's the worst thing. If they don't want you your best, don't give them you at or they don't want you your worst, then don't give them you at your best, right? But at the same time, it's a good feeling to know that people see your hard work, and it's just that little kick of confidence, that little boost of energy you get to keep on fighting, right? And keep on going. But it doesn't mean that it gets easier. It doesn't mean that your life's perfect and all put together, and your structure in your life is just untouchable. Because there's going to come a time where the structure that you built for your version of yourself 6 months ago is not going to be enough for this version of yourself in another 6 months. Because if done correctly, as we keep on building these plans and these goals and we start working towards them and reaching them, we should be setting another set of goals and another set of goals, right? You shouldn't be making your bed, or it shouldn't be on your task list every single day to make your bed for six months, right? It becomes what is it called? Second nature, first nature, second nature to make your bed. And after a while, you've already got it down. You've been through the days where you didn't And that's how you replace bad habits with better habits. That's how you start building structure in your life. Don't just get a little bit of success and then think you got everything together, because you're going to drive yourself to the ground. You're going to get to the point where people notice you're starting to get good at something, and then you're going to stop, right? Going back into everything I've done, up until, this point in my life. Started DJing, right? Got a little good, started getting booked a little bit. There was easy, if X, Y, and Z, then why aren't we all doing it? Right? Why aren't we all doing it if it's easy? Because it's not easy. Because nothing in life that's easy is worth really having. Right? Everything that you've done in your life right now to get you to where you are, the car you drive, the house you drive, your kids that are probably very properly mannered, the nice shoes you have, whatever it is, it was not easy to get that stuff. It was a lot of hard work. There was hours that had to be put in it. The weight loss, that wasn't easy. It's hard work. You had to put hours into that. But you feel good about it when you have it, whether it be materialistic or physically or mentally or emotionally type of change. It feels good when you have it because you know how hard you work for it. And there's no better feeling than that because you can't fake hard work, right? I know that they say like money is not everything, right? And I get that. Money can buy you, I don't think, complete happiness. It could buy you little stress-free moments though, for sure. But it can't buy you complete happiness, right? But at the end of the day, isn't money really a testament to how hard you've worked over the last X amount of years? Right? Isn't it safe to say that? Even though money can't buy it, or what, actually, if you have enough money can't buy you pretty much anything. But at the end of the day, isn't having a certain amount of money in your bank account, doesn't that show how hard you've been working? Right? Isn't the person right now that lost 100, 200, 300 pounds, doesn't that show in the future? The action of eating clean and proper portion control is weight loss. The action of not caring about your finances is you being broke. You could control it. Action and consequence doesn't have to be a positive and a negative, right? I just went back and forth. I went to action, eating clean, consequence, weight weight loss. That's not a bad thing, right? I don't think that's bad at all. But it's all up to you. It's your choice. You have the option, the obligation to work on yourself. It's not mandatory. Trust me, I went 27 years and I didn't even care about what I was looking like. You know, well, actually, no, I've been on and off crashing diets, but I really wasn't taking it serious. But once I started getting my life together, once I started working on myself, once I started building structure and discipline, and when I say that, I mean actual structure and discipline, right? Not just doing it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and then, you know, falling off. Like actually working on it every single day. Not focusing on being perfect, but focusing on being better. I can tell you right now, from living a life of Anthony Lopez version A and Anthony Lopez version, I don't know what version I'm on right now, I like this lifestyle a lot better. I like the structure and the discipline that I have right now. And as I'm having this podcast and as I'm speaking to you right now, ask me this in 6 months, because I'm gonna like that person better. And if you would if I had this conversation 6 months ago, I would have been a better person today. Because I'm always looking to uplift myself. I'm always looking to better myself as a person, as a brother, as a boyfriend, as a friend. I'm always looking to better myself because I spent so many years of my life being average and basic, lack of freaking discipline, of self-control, of self-confidence, of self-love, and just had a whole bunch of self-pity that I know that I don't want to live that life anymore. And the person that's listening to this right now that just resonated with all that, I know you don't want to live that life anymore. But the only way that you're going to change humans, we only go towards the things that are fun. But I'll tell you right now, from someone that's lived a lot of different lifestyles, the person that doesn't have structure, the person that doesn't have discipline, the person that doesn't have any self-control, self-respect, self-love, no accountability, that person is not happy. There's things in your life right now that you are not happy about and you're not willing to work on them because it's hard, because it's difficult, because you're scared of failing. Failing is part of this stuff. It is okay to fail, but what's not okay is you failing and not getting back up to fight again. Failing is another opportunity for a lesson, but it is actual failure when you learn nothing from it. And that's what we continue to keep doing. We do the same thing, get the same results. Do the same thing, get the same results. How many times are we going to go round and round in this circle, like this merry-go-round that goes round? We get to one point, at the highest point, then we start slowing down. Get over here, high point, we're doing good. Nah, we're going to slow down. How many times are we going to ride that merry-go-round? Is that a merry-go-round? Did I say that right? Is that a merry-go-round or is that I did say merry-go-round, right? Okay, cool, I caught myself. I'm good. I'm smarter than I look. Until we try something different. And nothing is going to change until you continue to have structure and discipline in your life, in your day by day. And it's not you making the bed. It's not you taking out the trash. It's not you brushing your teeth. It's not you worrying about your hygiene. It's not doing that stuff that's going to make you successful. It's doing that stuff when it's no longer fun. It's showing up for work when it's no longer fun. It's going to the gym when the motivation is gone. It's continuing to work on yourself when that 2-month, 3-month program is over. That's when you start building that structure and discipline and consistency. And I wanted to share that, because I feel like I struggle with this. I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. And I think talking about it is always good. I'm speaking from two different people in life. And at 6 more months, I'll be another different person, right? We need to start doing the things that actually make us happy. And that's the things that when you wake up every single day and there's things that you want to work on, that having a clean car will make you feel better. That having a clean room, a clean house, right? Well, decluttering your life, it'll make you feel better. Those are the real things that are going to make you feel better. Not you going on a shopping spree or buying a watch or a glasses you can't afford, or going to buy a bottle service that you know damn well you're about to throw on a credit card and pay that shit in 6 months. Those things are not real things that make you happy. Those are just band-aids that you're putting over and over and over again because you're hiding the real problem. And something I want you to remember before I end this podcast. Band-aids are meant to cover the wound. They're not meant to heal it. So stop putting band-aids on. Get out there and fix yourself.
All this happened for myself and my family. There's no way that this is